a.m. This is the executive committee meeting of the State Bar Board of Trustees. Those of you who have reviewed the agenda will see that it is very light. We've got essentially one important item of business. Could we start with the roll call, please?
Chen? Not present. Cisneros?
Here.
Okay, thank you. Duran?
Here.
Knoll?
Here.
Soel?
Present.
Stallings?
Present.
You have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. We are conducting this meeting in a hybrid format with several of the trustees present here in Los Angeles at State Bar offices, several trustees on the screen participating. Video is if there's any trustee participating by telephone and not video, please make yourself known at this time. Hearing none. Okay, we will call for public comment. This is the portion of the meeting where the executive committee encourages and welcomes members of the public to address us on any item of interest and within our subject matter jurisdiction. You can indicate your desire to address the committee by using, if you're here in the room, please raise your hand and make yourself known and I will recognize you. If you are participating remotely, indicate your desire by using the raise hand function on the platform that you are using. We have two. You'll have 3 minutes to do so. Good morning and thank you for joining us. Do I see anybody?
First member of the public, we have Rev Frank.
Okay, Rev, welcome.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of my dispute with Leah and the State Bar over criminal charges that should go against Vanessa Holton. I've updated the website to where it now shows that the police report was filed on the 23rd of November, the day after I filed the State Bar complaint against her. So I'm asking Leah again, can you please go back? You still owe me people for the State Bar complaints that I rejected so far from Reza Marie Sitton. And by the way, did you think it was smart to hire an ex-State Bar employee to cover yourself, Leah? You think that's normal? Are you going to answer me, Leah, or are you just going to sit
If
there?
your comments are done, sir, we'll move on to the next speaker. If you
No,
have
I'm
more to
not
say,
done.
you've got 2
I'm
minutes
not
to do
done
so.
whatsoever. I'm going to be leaving here, Leah, going to the LAPD. I'm going to file the false complaints. And if you could get on the Freedom of Information Act request that I've been hitting you up for. And if you could get to Hamlin, tell him, the Executive Vice Chancellor, Dana Megan Roche of O'Reilly and Roche, you guys got a lot of emails that you are supposed to be getting to me and you're ignoring them. So if you guys aren't aware, I've spoken with Mark Lieberman. He's an excellent attorney suing you. So everything that I've been working on for the last several months, he's got full access to. So if you guys don't comply with my Freedom of Information Act requests, maybe you'll end up having to subpoena them. Leah, are you going to work on this? Are you going to get me the responses back that you still owe me on the complaints? I rejected the one from Reza. I rejected the one from Kevin DeSantis. So what are you doing? When are you going to find somebody that's not going to be corrupt to answer my complaints? No comment, Leah?
Sir, you're addressing the board, not Ms. Wilson. And if you have more input for the board, we welcome it. If not,
Yeah.
we'll recognize it.
So why don't you take a look at VanessaHolton.com. You'll see the timeline laid out. I filed the State Bar complaint against Vanessa Holton. And the next day she files a police report alleging that my website that had nothing to do with her and actually had a full disclaimer on it that it had nothing to do with her except going to Brian Bagay to point out the corruption that I see going on. And she filed a police report claiming that the website was in false or whatever. But she's a government official, is she not? Are you guys not all public officials? So under the basic, satire rule, I can write anything I want. And she can't file a police report that I call as intimidation for filing the State Bar complaint against her. So Leah, are you going to do anything or are you just going to sit there and wait till the LAPD starts working on this? I guess that's my comment for today.
Okay, thank you. We have another speaker.
Yes, next we have Todd Hill.
Good morning, Mr. Hill. Welcome. As soon as we activate you, you'll have 3 minutes. Okay, looks like you're good.
Good morning. How does one follow the good reverend? I'll simply say this, that in 2004, the state of California enacted the Sunshine Act, proposition, I think it's 59 at the time. And that actually made public access a right. It's a right of the people. And so even though I may or may not have any understanding of other issues that are going around the bar, oh, I'm sorry, she thinks she's more important right now than she is. But the reality is that the Sunshine Act really does make it very difficult for the bar to claim that it has some sort of privilege or interest, especially when its primary mandate is, protection of the public as the highest priority, no matter the conflict of interest. If you take the weight of my right to access or the public's right to access, and you weigh that against what the interest of the state is, the bar, most of the time that test will likely be failed, and you will have to give access to the public. This notion of transparency is not something that you're doing because you're trying to be right or you're trying to be good people. It's because it's demanded of the position. This is not something where, we out of the goodness of our hearts, we are just trying to do the right thing and we're all good people up here. No, it's the law. Some of you have sworn to obey the law. Some of you haven't. Not the topic I was expecting to talk on, but again, how do you follow the good reverend? The topic I was going to talk on was I did actually ask for some corrections to the minutes. I sent those in for details related to what I have clearly outlined in writing as inaccuracies. I have some concerns about some policies that are being made. I've submitted those as written comments. I've also submitted a mechanism by which I think it's easier to get public comment, opening it up to basically, like Google Docs or some other kind of format where people can do real time, up to date, hopefully not Twitter-like, but really in actuality, that kind of update. And that seems like it would be appropriate. Finally, I'll say this. It's easy to, in fact, I have.
Sorry, but your time is expired.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Thanks, Mr. Bell. Is there anyone in the room or anyone online who wants to continue with public comment or offer more public comment?
We do not have any additional members of the public who wish to address the committee.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. I'll remind the members of the committee and those who are listening that written comments can also and have been also submitted for various of our meetings today. And rest assured that the trustees have received those written comments with the opportunity to review them before the meeting. Okay, let's move on to our agenda. We have a consent item, which are minutes. Are there any questions or concerns with the minutes? If not, may I have a motion to approve them as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Motion
Jose,
by
I'll
Mr.
second.
Knoll, second by Vice Chair Stallings. Can we have the roll call, please?
Chen, absent. Cisneros,
Yes.
Knoll,
Yes.
Soel,
Aye.
Stallings,
Aye.
Duran.
Aye.
5 ayes, 0 nays. Minutes are adopted.
Okay, that takes us to our item of business, the approval of new member and an alternate member, alternate members to the Judicial Nominees Evaluation Commission. A very important function here in our system of justice in California. The staff report has been presented in writing, and it looks like Ms. Grammy is here to walk us through the details of that. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning. So yes, we have the memo before you, which lays out some proposed new additions to the Jenny Commission. We had some unexpected vacancies happen, particularly in the areas of retired judicial officer. And we didn't have any alternates on the approved alternates list from July that included judicial officers. So the memo actually proposes that you appoint one to fill one of the vacancies that's coming up. And then in the interim, between the time that we posted this item, we received an additional judicial officer. Thank you. No, not applicant. I don't know why my words are. Yes, thank you. Resignation. And so we're actually, originally the item was proposing that we add one alternate as a judicial officer, but now I'm just requesting that you appoint both of those former retired judges to the Jenny Commission to fill the vacancies. And then we have one additional public member we'd like to add to the list of alternates so that in the case of a public member vacancy, we can just fill that without having to come back to the board.
Thank you, Ms. Grammy, for that very brief and succinct explanation. Reminder to the executive committee that this action is purely to recommend to the board the ultimate actions that Ms. Grammy has described. The record will reflect that Trustee Chen has joined us. Glad you're here safely. Any questions for Ms. Grammy from any of the members of the executive committee? Mr. Trustee Sowell.
Just a very quick one. Bridget, when I looked at this item, it looked like there is not an alternate list for retired judges. Is that correct? And then as a result of making this recommendation for these two appointments, will we still not have an alternate list for retired judges and need to create?
Yes, good question. So we just had one alternate list of 10 individuals. It just so happened that it did not include retired judges. The rules require at least 2 retired judges to serve on the commission. And so, yes, that was an oversight. So, however, based on the applicant pool for this 2023 Jenny Commission, these were the only 2 retired judges in that applicant pool. So for now, we're just recommending that we appoint these 2 people to fill the vacancies, and we're just starting the recruiting process right now for the next Jenny Commission. So we will be making sure to recruit and add some more retired judicial officers to the list.
Very good. Thank you.
And Ms. Grammy, just for the completeness and accuracy of the record, could you share the names of the proposed individuals?
Sure. So we're recommending Judge Jaroslavsky and Judge Kaufman to fill the judicial officer roles. And then for the public member alternate, it's Andy Yang.
Great. Okay, if there are no other questions or comments, I will just give it to the secretary to take the roll.
And Mr. Chair, if I could just, a brief comment. I want to thank Bridget for her work and then also the work of Melanie as the other appointments liaison. During our meetings, we've had continued discussions about how best to staff Jenny as far as from a volunteer standpoint. I know that staff has really revamped the way that you engage with public members to really get a diverse group who apply to serve on this important commission. So just want to really thank staff for taking leadership in that. And then secondly, really just want to thank each individual member of the Jenny Commission. There has been a substantial amount of work that you have been tasked with completing, and just want you to know that the staff and the board is looking at ways to further refine those processes and to make sure that your valuable time is treated as such, and really want to thank each individual commission member for your volunteerism. It is a substantial amount of work. Each member of the commission who I speak with reminds me of, and we just want to make sure that that your volunteer spirit is not taken advantage of, and that we continue to refine that. So thank you to staff and for all the volunteers. And with that, I'm happy to move the item.
It's a motion by Stallings.
Second.
Second by Knoll. Before we take the vote, I do want to echo Vice Chair Stallings' sentiments of gratitude to Trustee Shelby and Ms. Grammy and the staff and everyone who works behind the scenes with the important work of Jenny, and then also the important work of all the Jenny Commission members themselves. I will say that since I've gotten involved with the State Bar, I've had more and more conversations with licensees, with judges, with would-be judges, and a lot of the work of the Jenny Commission can be shrouded in sort of this sense of secrecy, although it's not, right? I mean, certain things obviously are confidential and conducted in closed session. I really appreciated the way your staff report laid out what it is that Jenny does and how it does so. Super informative, very, again, brief and concise, and very helpful to me. And it's something that I'm going to use to help answer questions when I get them. So thank you for that. Okay, if there are no other comments, we'll hear the vote, please.
Chen,
Yes.
Cisneros,
Aye.
No,
Yes.
Soel,
Aye.
Stallings,
Aye.
Duran.
Aye.
6 ayes, 0 nays, the motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. That takes us to the conclusion of our agenda, and we will adjourn and let the next committee take over. Give us a couple of minutes to do that transition, folks. Thanks.